We established the Tanzania Internet Exchange at the end of 2003 because the internet providers in Tanzania saw that over their expensive satellite communication links, the latency was very high to their upstream providers in Europe, and then double the time up to 1,200 milliseconds to return back to other providers in Tanzania. And we wanted to establish direct links between the internet providers in the location of Dar es Salaam and save on international bandwidth cost and provide better quality of service for the customers. We can calculate that at the current levels of traffic over the internet exchange and the costs for international transit that is saved through that, an amount of about 10,000 US dollars is saved every month that will stay inside the economy now and can be used for other purposes. We had no initial funding, but we got a grant very quickly from the UK, and we rented a room from that and purchased equipment that was actually used. And buy-in from the local internet community was actually not a challenge at all. Everybody understood the issue and cooperated very well. The training that we received at one stage in a 2-day workshop only in 2003 helped a lot, because before that time there was no local knowledge inside Tanzania of the technicalities of BGP, Border Gateway Protocol, setup and provisioning. So the establishment of the Internet Exchange also helped us in the global internet ecosystem to use our own IP addresses efficiently with upstream providers. The benefits that we have seen since the Internet Exchange was set up is mainly that local hosting has become a much more viable option. Content is moving slowly back into the country, while before web services were hosted outside the country. We see a great interest by government entities like the tax collectors, who have online facilities for processing electronically customs procedures and things like that. And troubleshooting is easier for mail problems because we have more cooperation between the different providers, and the knowledge sharing is increasing. The impact to the end users that the IXP has provided is sometimes not seen directly by the end user, but often expected increase of quality of service that results from local interconnection. We've seen speed test websites come up being hosted locally in Tanzania so that end users can test their connectivity and last mile speed from their respective providers when talking to a local server. Yes, we've seen some startup ISPs come up very easily with offerings of local content, mirroring websites with open source content and things like this, who are actually also interested in deploying new technologies like IPv6 and very eager and active in that area. And other domain registration services, the country top-level domain is connected to the Internet Exchange. And then we've had root servers connected to the Internet Exchange, and central resources like the Central Bank of Tanzania is connected. With regards to challenges for the operation of the IXP, we have seen that the power situation is still something that gives us problems, and we have to dedicate resources to overcome the power problems and provide a very stable internet exchange. This is happening, and we are now moved to a different location in the same building where we have adequate backup facilities. When selecting the location for the internet exchange point, we considered the aspect of neutrality of the location, and several of us who were then active in selecting and pushing this idea, we went to several buildings, and because at that time fiber use was not widespread yet, we were considering buildings that had a line of sight for wireless radio equipment to all the major internet providers who we knew were eager to connect. And we actually set up the internet exchange in the top floor of the building so that cable runs are short, and rented the place from the Posts Corporation so that we had our own independent neutral location, and did renovation works to put up an extra wall and air conditioning and all the necessary facilities. Back then when we established the internet exchange, but also ever since then and nowadays, that it is very important to have a trust between different providers who are actually at the same time competitors, so that nobody feels his network resources to be abused, so that everybody can participate and can see a mutual benefit of the peering arrangements between the ISPs. At our internet exchange, all the internet providers are currently voluntarily peering with a root server, and they are not exchanging any monies. So peering is a settlement-free arrangement between internet providers, and currently we have only providers present at the internet exchange who are originating from Tanzania. The rules and regulations for the internet exchange, which were broken down in technical requirements for connecting equipment and protocols, and organizational requirements, they have changed slightly since the inception of the internet exchange. We have actually in fact had in the beginning a mandatory multilateral peering, so that everybody had to peer with everybody else, but in expecting newer, bigger players to come into the internet exchange and trying to both sell services and peer selectively, we changed the requirements to a more liberal version, so that everybody is encouraged to peer with everybody else, but people are free to choose not to. The technical capacities and know-how in our industry has increased a lot in Tanzania because of the setup of the IXP, also partly through help with training workshops run by the Internet Society, and providers have more knowledge now to also deal with their upstream providers and other peers at the IXP through that. In our relation with the government in Tanzania, we have noticed that while there was first some hesitation, possibly caused by lack of understanding of the concept of an internet exchange, we see now that the government and the regulator are assisting us a lot, and assisting also with establishment of additional internet exchanges and providing of equipment within Tanzania.